We've hit the hype split opinion when it comes to fans and critics over some of the biggest blockbuster releases. This is especially the case in 2017 with the likes of Justice League and Alien Covenant drawing the line in the sand between many. It also doesn't help when a franchise has close to, if not more than 50 years of history behind it. There will always be the die-hard fans and there'll always be the haters. Ramp this up to 100, sparkling the most passionate fans out there, and finally add a pinch of Star Wars. What do you get? The Last Jedi. Which of course fans and critics are on completely different sides, with neither budging since its release. Rian Johnson is the first person since Lucas himself to have the creative freedom to act how he wishes, and well, look where that's gotten us. Fans want fresh, new ideas that can just push the saga forward. When they get that, however, it's rejected overwhelmingly. Some may not know that The Last Jedi was almost a very different film, with a lot of changes taking place throughout the production and in post. So did the mouse almost write that check to Billy D. Williams, and could we have seen the fan favourites from legends such as Carl Katar make their film debut? Well, let's take a gander, shall we? Hello there, I'm Ben from WhatCulture.com, and this is 10 ways that Star Wars The Last Jedi was almost completely different.
Hey guys, before you get stuck into this rather meaty list, I just want to talk to you about That Film Theory, which is a brand new channel that we're starting up pretty soon. It's going to take on the form of kind of like relaxed video essays, posing questions, theories, and hopefully finding some answers. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, then you can click up here to find some details, or down below to find even more.
Number 10. A First Order Assault on Acto. Taken from the Visual Dictionary, early concepts show First Order forces pushing towards Acto. This would have answered the many fan complaints to as, if Snoke could link the minds of Kylo and Rey and listen in, why didn't he locate Luke in the process? Now, I know Luke had disconnected from the Force, but as we saw in the last shot, anyone has the Force within them, just waiting to be awoken. So, couldn't Snoke just have made an educated Force guess or something like that? Going off this, at some point Snoke did track Skywalker down through Kylo and Rey's mind meld, deciding to send the fleet. We can only imagine the final showdown The Last Jedi could have had on Acto. Seeing Luke in more of an active role rather than a Force rejection might have had more impact. Number 9. One character-defining Captain Phasma moment. We all know that Captain Phasma was completely robbed from her just-deserved screen time coming off The Force Awakens, so fast forward 2 years and audiences were promised a much bigger role for her in Episode 9. But now I'm not sure if the character serves any other purpose than to drive spin-off books or boost those toy sales. Then again, at least she was an okay character in Battlefront 2. A scene was cut after Phasma's helmet was shattered by Finn. Now, he's surrounded by the rest of her unit, only to then try and persuade them to rebel against the captain's rules. Phasma then would have gunned them down, Old West style. For a beat, it seems to work, but at the same time it would have been hard to focus on whilst BB-8 is trampling stormtroopers in the background. Number 8. Rey's most important lesson. One of the biggest complaints about The Last Jedi comes from Rey's post-training not really feeling like she's ready to take on the galaxy before her. Though, you could argue the point, learning the lesson of failure and all that. Luke tells Rey that there's a raiding party approaching who, for some reason, routinely return to the island, and states that attacking them will result in greater repercussions later. You know, connoting Obi-Wan's greater numbers line. Paying no attention, she immediately sprints towards a smoke that turns out to be an actual party, comprised of caretakers, Chewie, and R2-D2. Hopefully Porg's on the menu. Annoyed by Luke's tests, this then gives Rey more motivation to leave the island. Number 7. Way more screen time for Poe and Finn. Everyone's favourite bromance romance from The Force Awakens was ultimately forgotten about, only to really be replaced by, well, Finn and Rose in The Last Jedi. Early ideas had the pair doing way more together, with one being that Finn and Poe would travel to Canterbury instead. Rian Johnson, though, scrapped the idea, calling the pair's dynamic boring, so instead he brought Rose into the fold to challenge and better flesh out Finn, rather than the traditional best friends stuff. However, Rose seems like a character hastily pulled out of nowhere to serve the plot, and a stand-in for the annoying fairy tale romantic interest. Now, I'm not against romance in this franchise, but moments such as Jyn Erso and Cassian embracing on the shores of Scarif, or Iden Versio falling for Del Meeko feels like ham-fisted rushed character development to me. It's a real shame we never saw more of the pair together after that back-to-tank scene. Number 6. Tom Hardy's Stormtrooper was Finn's childhood friend. At one point, Hardy was so sure of his involvement in the movie, he actually posted a photo to Instagram, which has now been deleted. All dolled up as a Stormtrooper, surrounded by his potential platoon. Sadly, his scenes never made it into the film, but we've learnt there was a slow build of realization as Hardy's trooper looked at Finn, shouting, "I know who you are, FN2187, sort of revealing that the pair grew up together. These are avenues that could and should be explored in a Star Wars picture, as we as an audience haven't seen behind the curtain to the life of a trooper. This crucial initial scene could have given Finn more weight going forward instead of falling into the background like Nine Num. Number 5. An audience payoff for Finn and Rose's stupidity. The leading complaints in the Dune Sea of Woes, Finn and Rose's time is spent on Canterbite. Case in point, they left the planet with a different bloody codebreaker, all because DJ says he can get the job done. Though DJ is good-hearted, but his scoundrel ways are more of a Han Solo parallel than anything else. And well, the intended codebreaker was a little too space James Bond for my liking. Shaken, not hyperspace. A line was cut just coming after that betrayal. Rose chastises DJ saying, "How could you?" Only for DJ to brilliantly reply with exactly what the audience were thinking. "Sorry, I turned out to be exactly what you said I was." And this isn't even the last stupid decision the pair made on this list. Number 4. A far more obvious Finn-Rey romance love triangle. Oh, here we go, and back to Canterbite again. And another of Rose's audience-reflecting charms came from calling out the presumed romance between Rey and Finn. A problem with this franchise and other major blockbusters is they're always hunting to pair people off in any which way. I mean, not everyone has to fall in love happily ever after. Just look at Chewie. He's doing just fine. Finn's initial motivations in The Last Jedi was to stay alive for Rey, but we never get an answer as to why or what would remotely happen after that. You can hear him mention that he's found something to fight for in early trailers after Rey is shown, but that was eventually cut too. And that line was actually from a scene where Rose calls him out saying that he's pinned for Rey, which of course was just after his attempts to flee the Resistance ship. You know, taking that relocation beacon so that Rey would find him and him alone. This is either a very loyal friend or a crazy stalker that's gotten tired waiting around for a reply on Facebook. Number 3. Finn's backstory. Finn was originally pegged as the next Jedi would go on some intergalactic adventure with. As we now know, Rey fills that Star's archetype. He's still playful and screams "woo" during action scenes though, so that's something. Cut now to The Last Jedi, and the biggest lingering question was about his childhood, or rather how it was robbed from him by the First Order. We already know that he was raised to fight, and that Jakku was his first battle, so that's it. As more cut material goes, when Rose begins discussing her childhood while they watch the Favors race, Finn then shares his. He goes on about how he had other family members taken by the First Order, but never elaborates, leaving this to be explained in episode 9 perhaps, but more likely relegated to a comic series, or a book that'll accompany its release in 2019. Number 2. A joke that would have come straight out of the prequels. Watch the prequels back now, if you dare. I do, damn it. You'll notice even more random background aliens or droids making stupid noises, falling over or doing something that's supposed to be fun for the kids. They even show up when Anakin is slaughtering people in episode 3, or when he's dueling Obi-Wan over rivers of lava. Though these jokes were some of the most despised elements of episodes 1 to 3, the original version of the Favors chase on Canterbite had a reprise of such thing. Coming during the extended version of the chase, Finn and Rose were set to crash through an alien bathhouse, where a creature would get hilariously tossed up into the air, make some funny noises and lose its bathrobe in the process. Yep. That's the level they were working on. Thankfully, the idea was scrapped and the chase was cut down because, let's face it, it wouldn't have been no pod race now, would it? And number 1, a completely different Luke. Hardcore fans have known for many years now that Mark Hamill originally wanted Luke to not only turn/return evil in Return of the Jedi, but that he would have a top-knot hairdo of all things. You know, like that one friend we all have. The original concepts for Luke did adhere to this, with small patches of hair on the back of his head, alongside some more religious symbolic markings on his forehead. Kylo too was meant to go down this arc throughout The Last Jedi, but as the film's timeline was only over a few days, it wasn't really a believable transition. In addition, Luke would have had some almost Vader-esque central dwellings, with access to different parts of the island, and would have taken a specific barge, not too dissimilar to that of Jabba the Hutt's used in Return of the Jedi. Ho ho ho! Now this actually wouldn't have been too far-fetched, as he spent many years wandering the galaxy in search for Palpatine's secret bunkers, filled with all sorts, some of which can even be seen in Battlefront 2. That very same compass he took from Pillow can actually be seen in his shack on Acto. Oh, and not to forget the time that Lando stole Palpatine's private yacht. A scoundrel could have slipped Luke a rare relic or two after that adventure, but instead we got a big mossy hole in the ground, and that was fine, I guess. The image actually still sticks with me.
Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Aren't you a star? Don't forget to like, share and subscribe below, and also there's probably more content floating up above my head, so why not check that out as well? Could be a laugh. Probably. 6 out of 10.